Hi, this is Tony from Sonata Arctica and Himmelkraft, and this is Chaoszine.
Okay, so hello everyone. It's day number 2 here at 70,000 Tons of Metal, and we have the pleasure to talk to Tony Kakko from Himmelkraft / Sonata Arctica. How are you?
I'm doing good. First show done last night, and it was a blast. Great show today. A day off, apart from a few interviews and meet and greets. It's all good. It's been great so far, So
You've also been on this cruise before.
yeah, this is our third time, so we are veterans.
Yeah, so how has it been in the previous years and how has it been now?
Every time good. The amount of sea and storms that changes. Today we have had some shaking and last night as well, but some usually
shaking at the moment a little bit.
Yeah, and of course we've been lucky enough to not go twice on the same port of call. The turning point. Every time a new place, and first it's Mexico, Cozumel, and then I can't even remember the second place, but now going to Jamaica, which is a place I've never been to, so I'm very happy to go there.
Bucket listing.
Yeah, absolutely. One more.
Have you actually calculated how many countries you've been in?
It's something 54, 55 around that. Something I'm not totally sure yet.
Okay, but you have to count at home that how many you've been in.
It's more than 50 easily anyway.
So like you said yesterday, you played a show here. So how different it is performing in a cruise?
The stage might shake a little bit for me. I didn't even actually notice it myself.
I think it was okay when
it was okay. It wasn't so bad, but for some of our band members, it was a little bit rough, unfortunately. but yeah, it's okay. The backstage area, that's a little bit like minuscule, non-existent and so forth. But you'll
so
manage
when
you know what you're doing and what to expect. It's not so bad.
So we are talking also because you will be releasing an album with a new band.
Yeah.
Himmelkraft.
Absolutely, yes.
And it's going to be released March 7th, if I remember. Yeah, via Reaper Entertainment. So first off, how big of a sort of like process it has been to put this whole thing together?
Well, the name, first of all, it goes all the way back to 99 or 2000. We were visiting Tuska Festival with some other guys, and I came up with the name. I don't know where it came from. I started singing something stupid in German and said that I'm going to release it under the name of Himmelkraft. Okay. And then, during the years, I wrote many songs that I figured this would be the first Himmelkraft song, but Sonata Arctica always stole that song somehow. and it wasn't until, I think, 2015 or 16 when I wrote the first song that actually ended up on the album.
Okay.
Full Steam Ahead. And then it also sort of solidified the style and where I'm going with this project stylistically and the story and the concept. And I started writing the songs, and then 2019, before COVID hit, I already had planned to go to the studio. I think we reserved the studio and everything for 2020, and suddenly everybody had a lot of time in their hands, and it was easy to get like extra musicians like violins and horns and such. They didn't have much to do anyway, and everybody's happy to play something when there are no shows or other activities available. So it was a fun process for me, especially I got to just let my hair hang loose and write whatever comes to my mind because nobody has any expectations.
Is it so with Sonata that when you are like releasing an album, there's still like certain expectations what you have to do in a way?
Absolutely. I've tried to bend the rules and the mold of Sonata Arctica, and it stretches quite a bit, but not enough for me. I enjoy
you've
writing.
Always sort of felt that you need to have or want to have some kind of like other outlet in a way.
Absolutely. I enjoy writing a lot of these slower mid-tempo songs.
Okay.
That's like my groove. It doesn't really fit Sonata Arctica that well. We can only have a couple of songs like that really on the album if we want to create a power metal album. And if we sometimes have had slower and mid-tempo songs only and maybe one or two fast songs, people start complaining immediately, and I totally understand that. But now we went back to power metal with Sonata with the latest album, Clear Cold Beyond, and so that's in
even
order.
More far away from
exactly. So that allowed me to separate those two worlds, music like identities.
Yeah. Okay.
More clearly. So it's a healthy mental place to go sometimes, you know, away from Sonata and just do whatever you feel like doing musically. Write different kind of songs and all sorts of weird soundscapes and stories and other things that are not Sonata Arctica. It also makes it easier then to go back to Sonata world, you know, and to sort of have fresh mind.
Yeah, and you can most likely challenge yourself in a new way that you could maybe bring to the main band.
Absolutely, yeah.
So in terms of like this album process, how did you end up having the musicians around you who are on the album?
I didn't really tell anybody much about this process, and not any labels. They didn't know that what I'm working on this. Even our management, or my manager didn't know. So I just, you know, started. I knew Pasi, who was playing bass, Sonata Arctica's Pasi, and his brother Timo, who plays guitar, and asked them to join. And then Jere Lahti, he's been our drum technician for Sonata Arctica in the past, and I love the guy, and so I get a group of friends together that I enjoy working with, and it's always a good feeling to be around those guys. So that was the core that I wanted to build around the band Himmelkraft.
But were you working those songs as a band, or was it like mostly done in your head?
I made very ready demos. I had like most of the things ready there on the demos, and the guys just had to learn how to play them, and they are not super complex, so easy going.
But it was like mostly your vision that
absolutely, yeah. This is my solo project, but you know, and Himmelkraft is a band, and that the idea that I had to have the whole band like anonymous, like much like early Ghost, that nobody knew who these guys are, it was sort of ruined when I realized that everybody will recognize my voice immediately when I open my mouth. That was one thing, and second, of course, you know, when you're trying to find a label these days, they want to have some kind of marketing tool.
But that would be the best marketing tool.
Of course, you know, but also one of my points going the other direction would have been this, that mentioning word Sonata Arctica and my name works as a repellent for some people as well.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, you know, there are a lot of people who might actually enjoy Himmelkraft, but they are so revolted. they find Sonata Arctica repulsive, and they just don't like anything about it. So unless they don't have anything against my person per se, they might actually enjoy Himmelkraft, because it's drastically different world.
What about the lyrics itself? Because obviously, like you said, you are in Sonata world, narrowed to certain type of lyrics, but now you can explore everything basically.
Well, Sonata can explore a lot of things as well, you know, human range of emotions more or less, and the same thing applies to Himmelkraft. It gives me a lot of freedom to work around, but also I can talk about and handle subjects that are like out of this world more easily, and have like technical weird diesel and uranium kind of things, which they would not really function with Sonata that well. And I'm trying to build a world, Himmelkraft, that is underground, and trying to explain through songs how things are there and how they make things work, and then there are a lot of songs that are just, you know, human relationship stories. Like I Was Made to Rain on Your Parade, the ballad, the big ballad on the album. It's basically a relationship love song between someone who lives underground and someone who's dwelling on the ground, and that kind of relationship, it cannot work because that guy living underground cannot tell where he's from. And
so has it been like some books or movies, or is it just like your own imagination that has led to these stories, or?
Of course, you know, there are a lot of things that have inspired me. I've always been into solitary, confined spaces. You know, I find them like games, computer games, for example, that you are in some kind of dungeon walking around, and then has always compelled to me. Like it's been fantastic, and Fallout series, and definitely it's like a visual aid almost for me, the gaming series, and of course now the TV series as well. And that's like the visual image that I have of Himmelkraft, that it should have things like what Fallout has. And I know there are a lot of Fallout fans out there. So, and of course, you know, after I had finished working on Himmelkraft, I found out the book series Silo.
Okay.
And also the series TV, and that sort of adds to the story in my own mind, that it's like similar kind of environment, except all the bad things have already happened on the ground. The above the ground world is unlivable, which is not the case with Himmelkraft yet.
So did this also inspire about the book, the stories that will be included with the album, or?
No, the stories, they are just, written according to the song. I told Sonia Arstio, a friend of mine, I asked her to, if she's a writer, first of all, and I've known her since she was a baby, the daughter of my late dear friend, unfortunately. And she's a writer, and she was my only choice. And I was very happy that she had a lot of time in her hands during the COVID to start writing. I gave her the lyrics and sort of explained a little widely what this song is about, and gave her free hands to explore the song.
And
what that story. Yeah, she got into it and did a lot of research. There's so much technical information on those stories, and historically accurate characters even and such. So it's almost like as if the songs were inspired by the stories. It's a wonderful thing.
Has that been sort of like a bucket list thing in a way for you to do something like this?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, like I mentioned, the idea originally came already so long time ago, but it only started finding the real form now. And, creating a world that sort of is part of ours, but still different, secrecy. And it's wonderful to be able to create something like that, and maybe perhaps in the future find new forms to sort of bring it out to all people, maybe cartoons or I don't know what. There are many, many tools and many, many great people to work with.
But you don't intend this to be like just like one album. You intend to continue evolving with this even more when you have time.
I definitely hope that there will be more Himmelkraft albums. I know I have more than one full album ready.
Okay.
Like musically written, and just needs a little bit few stories more, and so when I have time, I can go in the studio and start recording without any schedule. I'm not gonna tell anybody when I'm hitting the studio. Just eventually gonna one day tell the label that hey, the album is ready.
So you're not gonna stress about this, that you'll just work on it when you have free time, and it's gonna be like it was in the beginning, that you will just do it when you have time, and second album is done, then you just put it out, and that's
Yes, absolutely. That's the idea. Stress-free and not telling anybody about anything. Strictly need-to-know basis kind of thing.
Do you also plan on bringing this live, or will it be like more of a studio project, or will it remain to be seen depending like what's the reception for it, or?
Yeah, well, the original idea was to keep it in studio only, but never say never. You
started as a ghost, and now you already have a band. So.
So yes, exactly. Definitely not with the first album still. It's too soon, but with the second album. But only if I'm able to create the world of Himmelkraft on the stage. So it needs resources. So Himmelkraft has to grow underground big enough to be able to make things happen like that. Basically, if you take a festival billing, Himmelkraft somehow miraculously should be above Sonata Arctica. That's a
small
long shot.
Goal.
Yeah, a small goal, and I'm not looking forward to that at all. And I'm not really. Part of me doesn't even hope and wish that happens. Because I think having one touring band is enough for me.
But you want to have it still like visual enough that if you do live show, it has to be something else, that guys playing songs with the backdrop.
Yeah, and black t-shirt. That's not gonna happen. There are gonna be masks and stuff like that. I'm gonna bring Himmelkraft on stage if that happens. So never say never, but this is not the plan right now. Anyway.
Let's see what the future holds. Hey, thanks a lot for taking time to
My pleasure.
talk
Thanks
to
for
us,
having me.
And all the best for the release of the upcoming album, as well as everything in the future.
Thank you very much.
Anything you want to say to the fans as a closure?
I'm wishing you all a healthy 2025, and I hope to see you guys on tour, festivals and such. Stay healthy.
Thanks a lot.